So now, we're leaving the lab. We've made the block. We've tested the block. Where are we headed to?
We are headed north to Montreal.
Montreal, Canada. We're going to build an 8.5-foot tall G-force wall. All right, now may the force be with you. What do I mean by that? Well, Star Wars just came out. We're building a G-force wall. Anybody think that was funny? No? Is there any movie theaters here in Connecticut? Anyone have a movie theater in their neighborhood? All right, okay. Techo quiz, everybody. Get out your clickers.
NCMA specification requires positive slope at the toe of the wall for 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, or 4 feet.
This is a brand new spec. You got to know it, right?
The NCMA specification requires positive slope at the toe of the wall for 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, or 4 feet.
And the answer's D, 4 feet. Okay, let's go up on the screen. Let's walk us through this installation.
Soil reinforced segmental retaining wall, we have our standard base of densely graded aggregate, what we call in my territory, modified.
Okay, so what we're doing, show them the 4 foot of positive pitch at the toe first. Show them that, because that's the part of the quiz question, and a lot of people get that wrong. And if you build a wall and there's not 4 foot of positive pitch at the toe of the wall, and it fails, regardless of whether that's the reason why or not, because it's industry standard, you're still liable. Yeah, in a court of law, no doubt about it. Now, under our wall, we have densely graded stone. You know about that, but behind our wall, we use densely graded stone as well. Why do we do that, Chris?
To catch that drainage pipe up above that densely graded aggregate to get that pipe out from the face of the wall.
Absolutely. Now you're drawing that pipe a pretty good distance out. Most people have the pipe just kind of end at the face of the wall. Why'd you do that?
You want to make sure that water gets out and not down into your sub-base or your base of your wall.
That's right. But I can't cut grass. Too bad. Too bad. You have to pick it up, move it, cut your grass, and go back to it, right? So at the top of the wall, you see low permeability clay fill. You see topsoil erosion resistant vegetation, so we have drainage at the toe and the top. Something else we do differently beyond industry standard.
We recommend a 3 foot column of clean stone behind the wall.
Ah, okay. The industry says 1 foot minimum clean stone behind the wall. We think they're wrong. They should say 1 foot minimum, 3 foot recommended. And if you think putting 3 foot of clean stone behind the wall is more expensive, well, you're wrong. Try it one time. I promise you will find it saves you so much labor and time, it's actually less expensive. Show me another drawing. What's this one?
Similar crosscut here, but instead of using our densely graded aggregate, we are going to use flowable fill.
So a flowable fill, concrete base under the wall. The NCMA does not differentiate between densely graded stone, open graded stone, and unreinforced concrete as a base under walls. What are we doing differently now? What's that in red?
Have our densely graded aggregate on top of that flowable fill, again for our drainage pipe up above that to get our water away from the wall.
Minimum 4 inches of clean stone completely around that pipe. Now this is a gravity wall application. There's no Geogrid. Show me the next one. The exact same drawing, now we've included Geogrid. This is a soil reinforced structure. So you can see we have the drawings for gravity and soil reinforced. You pull the appropriate one out of your backpack. That way you can explain it to the consumer. Show me another one. Uh-oh, what's this one?
This is in a water application, so you see at the toe of the wall, we have our riprap here to prevent any erosion from that water on the face of the wall. You see our water line
erosion,
here.
We're talking about scour, we're talking about drawdown from tidal changes, that kind of stuff. We're resistant to that. What else do we recommend beyond industry standard in water applications?
We recommend a bench cut behind the wall and using all clean stone.
So we recommend you follow the angle of repose of the soil, you bench cut it, and that entire excavated area is now backfilled with nothing but clean stone. So now what's our hydrostatic pressure in this wall? Zero is right. It's pretty damn close to zero. So all that water will dissipate very quickly. Show us one more. Oh, I thought we took this one out. This has to be wrong, right? The pipe in the base of clean stone, is that right? Yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely. It's as low in the horizon as we can get it. We've got to make sure we have a good bed, 4 inches of clean stone completely around that pipe, holes down, water fills in, and then can run off to the environment. Now, I bet you Chris can tell us the length of this wall.
I will guarantee you that this wall is less than 50 feet long.
How could he do that? How can he look at a cross-section of this wall and know its length? How would he know that? Huh? You have to have a daylight every 50 feet, or because of the grade surrounding the wall, we know that it has to come out on the end of either side. Folks, all these drawings are loaded up on our knowledge-based website. You can get it from any of the men in black. You can get it from Chris and myself. Get them. Put your logo here, laminate them. When a homeowner understands what they're paying for, they'll pay. Believe me, they'll pay. Okay, cool. Put me back up on the screen, guys. Thank you. All right, cool. Let me back up. Now, this area here was over-excavated. Chris and I were running around the country doing our job site crashers thing. The homeowner decided that they were going to excavate in advance of our arrival. And when that excavation occurred by whomever they subcontracted to, they dug to China. How do I know that? When we showed up, there were egg rolls in the trench. Sensitivity training, huh? You think I need it? I'm the poster child for sensitivity training. What did we do? Well, we built a bed of clean stone. We biaxial grid stabilized it and wrapped it in geotextile fabric. So yes, they over-excavated, but we can handle it. We're working in a tight community, in a city, where the homes actually share a driveway. We're going to build a retaining wall between these areas, give them access to their backyard. Problem with working in tight communities like this is the trades are coming and going. You can see the irrigation lines are run, plumbing, electric run. The pool is actually already installed next door, which means all this has already been excavated, and it's been excavated too deep. And when you find that you've dug too deep, the best thing to do is to stop. To deal with that in a very deep frost line climate with lots of freeze thaw, we're going to amend that subgrade. Why? Because we have a clay soil subgrade. You can see that soil and its pliability. Adding just a little bit of water to it, you can see how greasy and sticky it becomes. Because of that clay subgrade, we amend it with clean stone. We integrate that clean stone into the clay. That increases its bearing ability. Once we're done with that, we're going to build a sub-base of 3/4 inch clean angular material. Once we get that in, we're going to stabilize it with an intermittent layer of Geogrid 4040. This material here laid on that base, thank you. Pull it out. Geogrid isn't just for stabilizing stone behind retaining walls. It can stabilize, in this case, your sub-base or base. So properly tensioned, this Geogrid with 3 inches of clean stone on top of it will make this base strong enough to withstand the freeze thaw and the frost. Once we're done with that, we're going to put in a non-woven geotextile, the Gator Fabric 4.4. The reason we're going to do that, we're switching to a densely graded stone base. Why? Because we have to plumb that water out to the environment. There's nowhere to get the water to run behind the wall, so we got to get it out. So we're going to build that up with densely graded stone. All our elevations are set. Top of cap, top of wall, bottom of first course of block. We're ready for G-force. This is the compactor typically seen on a hardscape project. Its centrifugal force rating, well, nobody knows. After 5 passes across its base, 4 inch thick, the level of compaction, almost none. Get that out of here. It's just giving me the appearance of compaction. Once that piece of equipment's off this site, we're gonna bring in a good heavy compactor. That's gonna give me 98% standard Proctor density. If you're still running one of those whacker 1540s or 1450s or whatever, do me a favor, put it on Craigslist or eBay or what's that new one?
Let It Go, I think?
Yeah, let it the fuck go. Let it go. Get yourself, please write this down, a minimum 5,000 pound centrifugal force rated vibratory plate compactor and get it reversible. Working in and around walls, it'll keep your guys happy and increase your efficiency. Write it down, please. 5,000 pound minimum centrifugal force rated reversible vibratory plate compactor. It's practically a money printing machine. Hey Phil, how you doing?
Doing great, Pete. How you doing?
Looks like we have a match going here. Two the same processes at the same time.
What you're seeing here is our wall screed system, and obviously we got two of them going here just to speed up production on this site. We got two simultaneous walls going in.
Okay.
Built at a 90. Neat part about this, we're using our walls or our laser rod. This is built on a 0-0 system.
Okay, and that is nice because it extends so tall.
Exactly. So I have a set screw on both ends, and I have 0 either at the base or at the top. And I also have 0 in the dead center. This allows me to set any point on a job site elevation to 0.
Okay.
So it's real handy for laser and
That's
grade
your
plans.
benchmark.
That's correct.
And that's handy because our laser is set up there on that pool deck area. Okay. And what are you doing with it?
So I've got my laser rod set at this point to about 1 inch below finished grade here.
Okay.
Or I'm going to set my base to 1 inch below finished grade. So
Okay.
I've got
and the
this
base
set.
is densely graded stone. It's already compacted to 98% standard
correct.
Proctor density. Okay.
Super hard base. And what we're going to be using here is you're seeing a number 8 stone, which is 3/8 chip clear stone.
Okay.
You know,
And that's our bedding layer.
That is
and
your
that's
bedding
going to give us good positive connection between that base course of G-force block and that aggregate base.
That's correct. So most guys in our industry are still on their hands and knees, and they're whaling these blocks, and they're checking it with a level front to back, side to side, too low. They pull it out. They put more material in. They put it back in. They're hammering it again. Obviously a lot of tension on your arm, elbow, your wrist, your shoulder. This is going to eliminate all that. So we tried to come up with a real simple solution. So this being set at my finished grade, all I do is I set this on my laser rod, or on my grade rod here, my wall screed, I tamp it. That's set to the base right there. Obviously with a beeping solid, that means I'm dead on. My other side, all I'm gonna do is tamp that into my base. Again, you can see how easy I'm working. That's set dead level.
And now once that's set, we want to lock it in, right?
That's correct. So using the number 9 stone, we're just gonna set that, and that'll lock that pipe in place. And then I just simply go to my next one. And again, I really want to stress on how simple this is to set. Again, front is set to dead level. My back. My back is set.
And we lock that in as well.
So
now this one's set on a 45. Why is that?
So unique thing about this, I have a wall that's coming out here. It's going to make a 90 at that point to allow for our stairs.
Okay.
So by setting my pipe at a 45-degree angle, that allows me to screed this section. I'll set this pipe for my return wall, and I can screed that section by setting just one pipe.
And by having two sets of the Quickie wall screed system, we're able to put the bedding in for both walls,
That's correct.
set the base course on both walls, and really increase production.
That's correct.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you.
Our base course of G-force block is in. It's been backfilled with densely graded stone and compacted to 98% standard Proctor density. The reason we've done that, we had to elevate our drain tile to get that water out onto this driveway and eventually off into that drain. We have a 4-inch bed of clean stone on top of that densely graded stone, and then our pipe, and then T-box to daylight. Our Geogrid is in. It's the 50/50 Geogrid from Alliance. It is biaxial. We didn't need biaxial, but we went with it because we have these return walls for our steps leading to the upper elevation. So that's great. We have an embedded course underneath of our raffinado step, which is right here, and we put in a 4-foot deep layer of biaxial grid that'll stabilize the clean 57 stone we're using as backfill. We'll bring that up to grade. We're going to use solid concrete block behind them, and we'll be ready to go. The next wall in, gridded, base block is in. All we have to do is core fill and backfill. You ready? Fire it up.
We learned a lot from our partners at the NCMA that a lot of the grids we're using behind our walls aren't meeting minimum spec. They're coming over from China. They're not meeting that spec that we need. So make sure you're holding your manufacturer's feet to the fire. If you need this information, ask them for it. This is the minimum spec for your geogrids behind your retaining walls.
And the test is called the external extensometer. They have literally built walls, put grid in it, well, it looked like grid, and went to pull it and it ripped completely apart. They couldn't even do the test. When asked, where did you get it? They didn't know. So demand the data from us as a manufacturer and from whatever grid supplier you're using. The G-Force wall by Techo-Bloc at 18 inches wide, 8 inches tall, depth of 12 inches, has weight, width, depth, and setback. The setback is given to us by this independent mechanical device, which is packaged with the block for free. You feed it in, it ties the Geogrid in with the wall, and make sure that we have the correct structural integrity. Also make sure that we have the correct setback. With my tape measure, you can see against the foundation wall of the house. On this course, we have about 2 inches of setback. 4 courses up, we're at 4 inches. So almost a ½ inch of setback. That helps give us the batter we need to retain that soil the rest of the backyard. Now we're going to transition to a vertical setback on the block. You can see here our Champlain Gray G-Force is built vertical. That vertical setting gives us a nice flush appearance with our raffinado steps. They're in gray nickel color. It's a lighter, brighter, welcoming color that's going to bring people into this backyard. You can also see my in lights are going in. The wire has been run, the connectors, very simple to tie that whole system together. So again, that will bring that welcoming feel to this back area. The raffinado cap in 60 millimeters will also be in grade nickel. That will be glued down once the lighting is done. All I have to do now is check on the progress of the back patio.
So we finished our 2 G-Force walls, our raffinado steps, walking up to that upper patio. In this case, we're going to use our Mr. Random product in Champlain Gray, Chestnut Brown. We're going to incorporate some upsells, some innovative lights from InLight integrated into the face of the paver, and also a water feature from our partners at Aquascapes.
Gateway Drugs is right. These aqua basins are a great feature of the landscape. This architectural stacked stone feature surrounded by our Antica and Onyx Black has water coming down the face, which gives us the sound in the environment, drowning out the sounds of the neighborhood. We have lights coming through these jets here and the ability to change those colors. That's going to make it very interesting. We also have lighting embedded in that product below, so we can uplight this. So whether you're looking at it from outside on the patio or from inside outside the kitchen window, you're going to get the enjoyment. This Aquascapes Aqua feature is really going to set off the landscape. Contemporary textured G-Force and raffinado steps. That's the structure of our wall. We have cedar decking and a mixed texture, our Mista pavers, a 3-piece random textured in 2 separate colors. We have our chestnut brown and our Champlain Gray randomly mixed together. Speaking of random, we've got lots of lights here. Jason, how are you?
Good, Pete, how are you?
Tell me what's going on here.
Here we have some of our integrated fixtures. You can easily incorporate them into just about any hardscape application as well as decks. Here we just kind of have a random kind of contemporary pattern. We're going to go a little bit different, think outside the box here.
Yeah, because traditionally you would use them on the border, right?
Correct, that's where we see most, and you still can. We just want to be a little bit different.
This is kind of that starry night, different sizes,
Exactly.
different diameters. How do you install these?
Very simple. So I'm going to show you how we're going to core drill them directly into the paver here, just using a standard core drill.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to water swivel on there. And
Let's take a look.
let's do it. So I've already pre-marked my spot where I want it.
Okay, and it's a random location, not necessarily in
Correct.
the center, right?
Exactly.
And that's on
in
purpose.
this application, yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's
Yep.
take a look.
I turn my water on.
Safety glasses.
Safety glasses, of course. Try not to spray you here.
Standard hammer drill.
Standard hammer drill.
Diamond bit.
So a couple things to remember there. Always start on about a 45-degree angle. That allows for a nice clean hole.
Okay.
Also allows for the bit to catch the paver.
And you can use that hose to rinse off all that residue
Very
as well.
important, yes. I almost
Right,
forgot.
We want to make sure that that's a nice clean surface.
Nice and clean.
Okay.
Residue's off. I'm gonna bring my paver back.
Okay, now we would typically be running our wiring through the bedding layer.
Yes.
But this is a gator base application.
So we had to improvise here.
Okay, so we're just basically channeling for our light.
Correct. So we just notched it out with an X-Acto knife. You could use a router or whatever is available
Okay,
for you.
sure.
So this is where
That unit's gonna go.
that's gonna go in. We're using our small integrated fixture here,
Okay.
22 millimeter or 7/8 inch.
The diameter of this is the same as the bit?
Same as the bit, correct. And there's ribs on the side here that allow it to actually sit firmly in place.
Okay, so
it's
you don't
not
need to
gonna-
put silicone or adhesive or any of that in there?
None of that, not
Oh,
at all.
okay, great.
Nope.
So you feed your wire through.
Extremely simple. Feed the wire through. That sits in. Just going to take our rubber mallet. Couple light taps.
And that's durable.
very durable. Firmly. You can drive over it, snow plow over it, no issues whatsoever.
Put your patio furniture, any of your fixtures that are outside, your grill, and not
Right
even
on
a
top.
problem. Okay, that's
No-
awesome.
no issues.
So now we just set that into place.
Exactly. So we're going to set that one in,
Okay,
just like that.
and run that through our channel or our bedding layer.
Or our
either
bedding.
one.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, because we want to put our connection on the outside here, just so it is accessible should anything ever happen to it, we're going
Right.
to add an extender on.
Okay.
So that's an optional piece you can get. They come in various lengths.
Okay. Let
That'll-
me see the inside of those.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, just a single prong right in
Single
there.
prong,
And
yep.
this is watertight.
Very watertight,
Okay.
very nice,
And
tight.
this is all low voltage running off a transformer.
All low
Photocell. We're good shape. Okay.
Yep. And to give you an idea, this is a 1/4 watt. Some of the larger ones are up to 1 watt. So very minimal power being used.
Right. And no voltage drop.
And very
So
little,
even in all these
next
random,
to nothing.
Okay. So we run that out.
We're going to run that out.
And there's our main line, right? That's running to the transformer.
Correct.
Okay.
So we got our main line, a 12-2 cable right here.
Okay.
With our connection,
Uh-huh.
there's 2 prongs. They're epoxy filled, so that'll create a really nice tight water seal.
Oh, that's great.
So what we're going to do is place our wire guide on the top of your 12-2 cable. That sits in.
And there's a channel there,
There is a
almost like teeth. It lines up perfectly. You can't get it wrong.
you can't mess it up.
Okay.
Twist it on. Hear the click. That's
And you're-
all we do.
And you're done. And we're going to bury that outside in the landscape, and we're good.
We're good, and voila,
Wow, the light's on.
we got light.
That is incredible.
And then all we have to do basically then is obviously just replace our paving stones.
And now we can go traditional with lighting, putting them in the field in random diameters, keeping them away from the edge, and it's seamless. That is incredible.
Just like that.
Now I know we have some lighting that's going in on our wall, right?
Yes, we got a lot of other stuff going on here. A
Okay.
lot of cool stuff.
All right. Well, show me these, because I've seen these before, and these go under the cap.
Yep. So these are our hide fixtures, new this year.
Okay.
Again, easy to go under coping, underneath coping stone.
LED again, right?
LED. Important thing to remember with these ones is there's 12 diodes. A lot of other ones, you're only going to find 1 or 2 or 3 diodes in there.
Okay.
This one, you're going to get 12.
Okay.
So it creates a real nice dispersed light.
And it has a 5-year warranty.
Everything's 5-year warranty. All
It's
our
a stainless steel.
fixtures. Stainless steel.
All right, and when you do, after 40 or 50,000 hours of use, which is quite a bit, need to change, you have a really neat feature about changing that.
We do. So if this is underneath your coping, basically snap that off. You would disconnect that connector like we showed earlier.
Yeah.
and then pop your new one back on.
Wow, and that's it. That's incredible. Now we saw these are what's in our landscape.
Yep.
These come included with these, the connectors, right? But you do have spares.
And lastly, yeah, so obviously we're going to uplight some of the foliage, some of the trees, the ornamentals that are going in. So this is our mini scope, 2 watts, really cool little directional spotlight.
Wow, that is really cool. The way that, so you can change it based on, how that tree grows or whatever you want to, uplighting on the wall or whatever you want to do.
And that's the beauty with our system, is it's fully interchangeable. So as the landscape grows or matures, so can the fixtures. You can replace that one with a larger one should you need to.
What's the motto at Enlight?
Let's see what light can do.
Let's see what light can do. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thanks, Pete.
it. Get them some traditional lighting like from Enlight and you'll change the game. Talking about game changing, let's look at G2 Sand from Alliance. Again, a game FlexLock Ultra G2, the 2nd generation version of polymeric sand. No dust, no haze, no blower, which is great, no silicates in the environment, and only 1 watering. FlexLock Ultra G2, changing the way you think of polymeric sands. Watch me dump the bag. No dust. Think airborne respiratory silicate. Think aerodynamic diameter. Think $12,500 per person within proximity of you sweeping, fine. Because it's relevant, folks, not a joke, for real. So remember, there are 4 types of interlock. Retaining wall.
Shear strength, block-to-block contact, your core fill, patterns, alternating bond lines, and finally that mechanical independent device.
Right, CMU base cores. Get solid CMUs. Put adhesive down with the flow water. Throw a 4-foot layer of biaxial Geogrid on all the steps you build. They are too expensive to go back and fix. Put a little bit of money in them.
Upsell and baby steps. Start with a fire feature, move on to lighting, move on to water features. It's all going to add up if you add a little bit at a time.
Yeah, you get them an aqua basin, and pretty soon they're going to have a pondless water feature, then a pond, and then a recreational pond. They'll be swimming with them because it's a gateway drug.